This is the Infinix GT 20 Pro and it's the best gaming phone I've ever seen. The unboxing experience gives you exactly a glimpse of what you should expect, considering its enormous proportion. It kinda looks like WWE's money in the bank briefcase. Anyways, inside you get the regular size smartphone box, a bold looking protective case which looks really good. If I were to judge its overall appearance, I would say it should give some sort of protection whilst also being a head turner. Because what's the use of it being a protective case if you can't protect your phone from little accidents and the like? You get a cooler that is meant to cool the phone whenever you're in a prolonged gaming session. You also get a pair of gaming triggers which is clippable onto the phone before you map your various actions. That's what you get in the big box, but what do you actually get in the small box? Well, opening it you are first greeted with the Infinix GT 20 Pro itself, a pair of standard wired earphones, a screen protector, a USB-C cable which is bent down to charge while gaming, and finally a 45-watt fast charging brick. I don't know about you, but I think Infinix has given us more than enough stuff here. Okay, who else thinks this is a very beautiful phone? Made out of a mecha aesthetic, I think this phone's design is one of the best gaming phone finishes of all time. Unlike traditional gaming phones which tend to look garish and futuristic, this GT 20 Pro's design looks quite familiar with the Infinix Note 40 lineup. And that's because Infinix tried to strike a careful balance between the design of regular phones and gaming phones. And I think it works out well because it should appeal not only to gamers but to other people outside that bracket. The phone's frame is plasticky but it's very sturdy while gripping. And speaking of gripping, that shouldn't really be a problem, as though the phone looks boxy, the corners are so ever slightly curved. The camera mode is also contested in such a manner that it should basically reduce a lot of table wobbling, as the camera island juts out but not to a staggering level.
Nice.
Another thing you'd notice is the flashing LED strip along the back called the Mecha Look by Infinix. It's very cool with how garish and shiny it gets. However, it's still one of those things I will label as a gimmick due to the fact that all it does is to serve as a notification indicator, which a simple LED flash can do. The display is a massive 6.78-inch 1080p AMOLED panel with 1300 nits of brightness and a 144Hz refresh rate. On a surface level, these specifications are pretty normal for a gaming phone, but there's something with this display in particular that makes it miles ahead from the others. But I'm getting there. I am also really proud of this phone's bezels as well as Infinix's decision to keep the selfie camera visible. If they tried to put an under display selfie camera like ZTE, the quality would have been terrible. If they tried to hide it in a bezel, it won't look very good, but I'm glad they didn't do any of those things. So considering that this is a gaming phone, how good can the cameras get? Because gaming phones don't exactly have the best track record for camera quality. We're getting a 108MP main camera aided by a 2MP macro camera and a 2MP depth camera. On the front, we're getting a 32MP selfie camera which is housed in a little hole punch cutout. The rear camera can shoot up to 4K with optical image stabilization, whilst the selfie camera can go up to 2K. These are very good cameras and should produce good output both in good lighting as well as low light. The performance is one area that got me really excited. This Infinix GT 20 Pro is powered by the MediaTek Dimensity 8200 Ultra, a very capable 4nm mid-range chip from MediaTek to focus essentially on gaming. And it works because you can play demanding titles without any issue whatsoever. During prolonged gaming sessions, to combat the excessive heat dissipation, there is a large vapor chamber as well as a PCM graphite sheet to get heat out of the phone. And if you feel like that's not enough, you can use the cooler provided in that morning bank briefcase big box. There's even up to 12 gigs of LPDDR5X RAM which can be further improved to 24 gigs by memory fusion. So that means that you can have loads of apps running at the same time without a dip in performance. This phone also packs a massive 5000 mAh battery which should last you throughout the day. And when it's time to charge, we are getting 45-watt fast charging which should take this phone from empty to full in a little bit over an hour. And there's even bypass charging to power the phone without juicing the battery if you can't help yourself but game at all times. Okay, so I mentioned everything: display, the cameras, performance, battery, but nothing beats the software experience. One very real problem gaming phones tend to have is their software. Trying to make it as gamingly as possible, they end up making it look quite bad, with their over-sharpened wallpapers and UI elements which don't stand out. But in this phone's case, Infinix stuck with SOS, and that's SOS 14 slapped on Android 14. It makes it simple and understandable. I can't say it's a saint, it does have a few futuristic wallpapers but it doesn't overdo it, which I really appreciate. When you get into this phone's game space, you see a lot of improvements that you would not see on other gaming phones. In addition to the performance modes, the do not disturb features, screen recorder and the likes, they've now added esports mode, which is for razor sharp concentration by disabling every form of interruption, whilst at the same time maximizes the phone performance and internet connection. So just blast faces, yeah. That doesn't beat this feature, which in my opinion is outright genius. This phone comes with an X5 turbo gaming chip made by Pixelworks, and the main benefit of this is something called pixel interpolation. That helps to double the frame rates in various games by adding artificial frames in between the actual frames. So a game running at 60 frames per second can run at 120 frames per second, which is much smoother. And HDR can also be put in the games whilst at it. As the icing on the cake, this phone supports 2 years of major OS updates as well as 3 years of security patch updates, so you can get to Android 16. Very neat. So before I conclude on the Infinix GT20 Pro, a couple of mentions. You also get an under-display fingerprint scanner, JBL tuned stereo speakers, an IR blaster as well as IP54 splash proof rating. On the downside, there is no wireless charging and no memory card slots, which shouldn't necessarily be a deal breaker as this phone has a base storage of 256GB, which is very sufficient. So should you consider getting the Infinix GT20 Pro? This is probably the best budget smartphone to ever exist at the price of under $300 and is targeted at a much broader consumer base, not only for gamers, with the extremely crucial design decisions, software layout and camera quality. This is easily the best value at its price and I 100% recommend it to anybody. Check out my Infinix Note 40 review on the screen right now and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. I'm Hilary, this is Harry21 and I'll catch you in the next one.